Hey, I'm Dr. Susanna Bozzoni, and I'm curious if any of you might be over 40, a woman, who suddenly, for their birthday, it's like you drink one glass of wine and you get a hangover before you even get tipsy, and you suddenly realize that it's either you're going to be a member of the Wide Awake 3 a.m. club or you're not going to drink at all. So if that might be familiar with you, I know it certainly has been familiar for me. I want to talk to you about why it is that, as it seems your 40th birthday, maybe for some of you it's 43, 44, 45, maybe it's further on, why this might be happening. Because number one, so we have to metabolize alcohol through something called alcohol dehydrogenase. In general, women have less of that enzyme than men do. All right. But also, as our hormones change, as we get into our 40s and beyond, our estrogen dips a little bit. Along with that, it's thought that our alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme also declines with that. Also, our body composition sadly changes, right? We have more relative fat in general at baseline compared to men, but then also it's really becomes, we have to focus more on building muscle because it's really hard to maintain and build that muscle, which is why resistance training is so important for this age. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm really here to talk about alcohol and why maybe we should start celebrating and uniting and becoming a community that really thrives, perhaps with a recognition that we might be better without it. I'm so sorry. However, I'm sorry. If you're going to live your finest life, a true reward is something that gets you closest to your finest self in order to do just that. And what does alcohol do? Well, of course, it disrupts the architecture of your sleep, your REM sleep, right? This is where we cough up emotional hairballs. This is where it's really important for mental health and well-being. So it really disrupts that, whether or not you fall asleep because of the drink. It's really disrupting your quality of sleep, which is so important. And of course, as we get into perimenopause and menopause, sleep becomes harder. If we start thinking about what are the symptoms of perimenopause, well, we also tend to have more inflammation along with those lower estrogens. So if we're adding what sadly is a neurotoxin, oh, I know, why does it work, right? That's it, it's just not good. But we're just having to try to detoxify so much more. And when you add alcohol on top of that picture, it's worse. We also see that alcohol really increases all of the perimenopausal symptoms that we have. It's starting to rain, so I'm going to talk really fast, including hot flashes, including our sleep disruption, but also the inflammation-related symptoms with frozen shoulder adhesive capsulitis being one of the top symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. And it also increases breast cancer at any amount of alcohol. Oh, how frustrating. And am I missing anything? Weight gain. Oh, of course, weight gain. Yes. Okay, so as the estrogen decreases, we have trouble more with insulin resistance. And so when we're adding what's usually a refined sugar in the form of alcohol, it's really harder to handle that sugar because of the insulin resistance related to the less estrogen. Okay, and in this transition. And I think that pretty much covers it. So I want to talk to you about what can we do instead. And you can see my beautiful plate here. This is options for making a mocktail. And these are wonderful, right? They can look like anything. I am not a chef. If I can do it, you can do it. So this is just sparkling water. This has fresh ginger in it, which is what those floaty things are. It's not backwash, I promise. And it's got fresh mint, and it's got lemon, and it's got one of my favorite adaptogens for stress management, because stress is so big for managing this perimenopausal transition and all those hormonal changes. Let us help with that. So Tulsi, or otherwise known as holy basil, one of my favorites here. These actually were made by a friend of mine. But Herb Farm, or Herb Farm, HERB, PHARM, is also a nice brand. I have no relationship with them, but reishi mushroom is another one. Another thing you can add, ashwagandha. Everyone often talks about ashwagandha. It's lovely as well. And then combine that, particularly if you're anxious, with lemon balm or passion flower, or maybe motherwort if you really feel like you need a hug. So you can add a couple of drops of those tinctures, or you can even have your base of your mocktail be something like a tea. So something to reduce inflammation, something we struggle with in perimenopause. This is a ginger turmeric tea. You could get Tulsi as part of a tea. This is a pomegranate orange flavor, so you can add that in with some sparkling water, cool it down, add further adaptogens or lemon balm or something if you want. You could add some fresh herbs, which I have here. This is peppermint, so that's an option. And then you can add in your fresh herbs. Here is my ginger. Here is my basil, looking a little sad, but it's okay. And mint, which is always wonderful. And rosemary, also an incredible anti-inflammatory herb. So I hope this is helpful for you and gives you some ideas. Also really nice for before bed, skullcap tea if you're really anxious or have a lot of muscle cramping. So just some options of things you can do instead of alcohol, because I know so many of our social events really revolve around it. So I'd love to hear from you. What do you do? What are your favorite mocktail recipes? How do you like to mix these up? There's tons of options. You play with the flavors that you like. I personally like mint or cucumber with sparkling water. If you want to put a little bit of a sweetener in there, you can use a simple syrup or maple syrup or honey if you're into that. So just a couple options, trying to think outside the box as to how we can thrive in our perimenopausal years. I hope this helps. And I'm actually going to go on a walk in this wonderful summer rain, so have a beautiful day and hope you really live your best life.